Hello, folks. It's Bob Frizzell, your producer, and well, is decent gin, not bar gin. I got a tough job. Okay, so this is my mix. It's good old-fashioned Canada Dry tonic, and it's cute because it comes in a little mini can, which sort of. Let's see if I can get this. Here's my cup. So it's not a huge glass, but there's not. It's a little can. Okay, so here we go. This is difficult. Okay. Now, I like my lemon squished, and then I just drop it in there. And I got an extra seed. I don't want to eat that, so that's just going to go inside there. Okay, let's see how this works out. Damn it, I knew it was some problem. I knew it was some problem. You just gotta... I should have got a bigger glass. Now... Oh, I already told you that I go out for my whistle dogs. I'd like to... Well, a lot of these places that serve whistle dogs, they don't serve booze. I got a little silver flask that I like to carry my booze around with. Anyway, I had a hankering for gin. That's one of my favorites, gin and tonics. So let's see. I had to give you an update. I haven't done an update here on Infinitebob99 for a while. And just so you know, this is my channel. Infinitebob99 is my channel. I mean, it says Bobby Burrows, but that's one of my actors. And I always like to keep like arm's length away from everything because I don't want my names on any documents. I just avoid it. I don't want my name on things. So, but this is my channel. Everything you see on my channel here are Burrows Bobby on, what's that thing called? Instagram. It's all my product. Okay, I'm the producer. It's all Bob Frizzell. And everything that you see on here is all Bob Frizzell. Shit. I was going to say I clear everything, but I don't want to say that. No, because I got to keep everything arm's length away from me. Like you get wise in this business. You get wise in this business, and people are always trying to go and what's that word? Like not coerce, but it's entrapment. There's always entrapment. And you see all these Hollywood movie producers, and they're all getting entrapped. And, there's all these people that, you pay them $200, and then they'll lie just for the $200 and say this or that happened. Everyone knows every actor's a whore. Sorry. Oh, okay. Now, I had to give you an update on, what's going on, because the actors are getting kind of antsy about this because they're getting worried that, somebody's going to stumble upon our production and think that there's something really going on. And I just got to tell you straight out that this is all entertainment. Everything we do is entertainment. And we just take oddball stuff, like this is where I get the stuff, right? This is YouTube. So, I've got how to awaken your kundalini safely, the truth about reptilians, a channeled message from rock to divine, fifth dimension, signs you're in the fifth dimension, Arcturian healing. Arcturians are foreigners, like they're off-planet people. Black aliens, Anunnaki aliens, how to heal yourself. And then there's a bunch of music in here. I don't know. Oh, the world is a simulation. They Live is a documentary that was Roddy Piper's thing. So what we work off of is it's common knowledge. It's all over YouTube, and that's why we expect that people are going to be able to figure it out. It's not like we're injecting new information into the public stream. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it, okay? But it ties into other stuff that you're going to find on YouTube. And that's what makes it worth tuning in, because a lot of this stuff, it's just like, these long lectures about, I don't know, like this one, it's like a year old, and it says it's got 600,000 views. Do you really want to be the 600,001 person watching this video? And then you're going to go talk to your friend about it, and they're going to say, I was talking about this a year ago. Where you been, you dork? So, we're not going to go and rehash what's already been said, but we will touch on it. And, if you've been keeping up with YouTube and conspiracy theories, you'll probably hear some of it, maybe not all of it, but we tie it all together. And we talk about some of the main channels, the main commentators quite a bit. And, but we put our own information in it because our actors are very creative people. And we also got, our writers. Our writers are doing research all the time. And, I'm just trying to figure out why else you would want to watch our damn channel. If we can't come up with anything funny, then we want something that's going to be like biting. So it's either going to be funny, offbeat, or it's going to be really serious, like, just serious, like, it's deadpan. Deadpan is when you deliver the line really serious. It's like, there's no humor to it, and it's like, it's supposed to be more truthful if you deliver it straight-faced, and, if you're making a joke out of it, then it's, it's a jokey thing. Oh, let's see now. If you want to be in any of our movies, you just got to be there at the right time and the right place, and, if our camera catches you, then, we're not going to pay you because this is a public service, and, it's on YouTube and Instagram, and God knows they don't pay us. And I'm not going to tell you how I made my money. But basically everything runs out of, the actors basically pay for it all so they can get publicity. And, I'm the front man, but I'm not the front man. I say I'm a producer, but you might as well consider me to be another actor, an actor playing the producer. So, because we don't want any of us to be like considered to be, you're gonna extort us for all kinds of money, because we don't have it. We do it for shits and giggles kind of thing. Now, all that being said, my hat is, if you can see it, it's LV, which is, usually Las Vegas. And I don't know, this is just one of the costumes that I like to put on when I'm going to go on camera, so you know that it's me, Bob Frizzell. Oh yeah, I want you to know that there's another Bob Frizzell in the public eye. Now, my last name is Frizzell, Frizzell. There's another guy, Bob Frizzell, Frissel. I'm not sure if it's one L or two L's. Bob Frizzell. Now, that Bob Frizzell is a very interesting character. I don't know, he does a lot of stuff with, if you ever heard of rebirthing, and he's all into like ascended masters, Baba G, living forever, immortality, conscious breathing in prana, yoga, all these kind of things. And he's kind of a Western version of it. It's not It's not like from India. It's all like the westernized versions of this stuff. So just so you know, I'm not that Bob Frizzell, but I'm Bob Frizzell with two Z's in the middle of the last name. Let's see. Um, I don't know. Sometimes if I have a few drinks, I loosen up, and then I can talk a little bit more about things. What do I think about the mainstream news? Well, I do watch it, but in very small amounts. I don't watch it every day. I might tune in to like, oh, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, I'll watch Lester Holt on NBC News. Now, sometimes if they've got those other ones, I actually prefer some of these other anchors because they've got more pizzazz. Lester is he's very solid and he's very serious. I mean, he smiles sometimes. But I think our favorite one on NBC News is Jose Diaz Balart. He's just because when he's speaking, and if there's a Latin word, he'll pronounce it in the proper Latin form. And I just think it's kind of sexy. If I was going to, I mean, it's not multinational. What do you call it? Multiracial, multidimensional, mingling. What do you call it? Multitasking. It means when you got multiple people in a melting pot. You got a melting pot. I mean, no one say that Lester Holt's, Caucasian or anything. I mean, come a long way from the old days, but I mean, Jose Ballart, the thing that he came up with at the end of the show was, what was it? I want to thank you for the pleasure of watching me until the moon comes up or something. No, it wasn't quite like that. But I think even Lester Holt sometimes says it. And then there's these other ones that work there, like Andrea Mitchell. Now, this is a weird one. For mainstream news to use Andrea Mitchell. I mean, talk about a small world. Do you know who she's married to? The former governor of the Federal Reserve, Alan Greenspan. So how is it that the guy that everyone thinks the Fed is like a private corporation and they're printing money for, the private investors and charging everybody else interest on it? How is it that his wife is one of the main reporters? I guess she's like the political Washington reporter, maybe, for NBC News, so that, hundreds of millions of people, not only in the States, but, other countries tune in on the internet and satellite. So she's the mouthpiece for the Federal Reserve, and she's on the mainstream news. Who else have you got? You got Kristen, it's like that grape juice. Welch's. Kristen Welcher? Kristen Welcher. Yeah, Kristen Welcher. Now, to me, a Welcher is like Welsh is on a deal, Kristen Welcher. So she's like supposed to be delivering you the news. And are you going to trust somebody with a name like Welcher? I don't. So Kristen Welcher. And who else have they got? They got that other Latino guy. Sometimes he does the weather reports. He's got a beautiful tan and nice teeth. And what's his name? He's a younger guy. He's the one that's, he's like the sex symbol on the TV show. We don't normally bring sex symbols in because everyone knows you put some sexy person on there, they're a bimbo. And, if you're delivering the news, unless it's the naked news, no one wants to see, bimboitis on there. They're trying to get real news, not fake news. And you got a bimbo on there that's, Anyway, so that one, I can't remember that one's name. And, and then the kicker of it all is that they film it at Rockefeller Plaza in New York. Now, everyone knows that Rockefeller is one of the Illuminati bloodlines. So basically, you're getting Illuminati news. They're calling it NBC News. Now, is NBC owned by, is it Comcast or Disney or Viacom? Those are the three big ones. Disney, Viacom, and Comcast own ABC, CBS, and NBC. But don't put those three together. Like I'm, I'm not sure which one goes with which, but those are the ones, and they're all. Everyone knows that Disney is all about entertainment. So if you're expecting real news from, uh, you know, fairy tale land in Walt Disney World, you really expect to get real news from Walt Disney? Mary Poppins is going to be real for you and you're going to get your regular news from them? Everything is made up fairy tales. You know. Now, in the day, they were very advanced. I was thinking of one of the first Kurt Russell movies was The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. So, he was basically, they did something to his brain and he was brilliant. Now, people in Silicon Valley are taking micro doses of, I don't know if you're even allowed to say it. In some countries it's so illegal, even the word is illegal. But it's those three-letter chemicals. They're dropping the three-letter chemical that are artificially illegal, and they're doing what they call microdose. So it's not like a full tab of it. Not a full tab cola. It used to be tab cola, but they take these little doses because they say it piques their memories or their creativity or whatever. Everyone knows they're all blown up, bazooka-fied out of their mind on Scooby Snacks. Everyone knows that, Tinkerbells live in San Francisco. So, it must be a Disney production. Oh, let's see now. Okay, so one of our actors is, oh God, I'm not going to go into all these actors. What else was I going to talk about? So we talked about them dropping three-letter chemicals and getting your mainstream news and expecting it to be anything but entertainment. So, we rely on this alternative YouTube news, and the more bizarre it is, the more real we think it is. Because, you got to go way out in a limb to find something that's really news, N-E-W, new. So, if something sounds like it's too mundane, it's like about accountants and, little pink houses and, white picket fences, it's not real news. And then a lot of these local news, it's all about murder, mayhem, and car accidents. That's not real news. You put the same thing on, you change the name, you change the car, but it's just an accident, and, So we don't go too much into that. We go for the stuff that's news. So, we talk about, oh, wow. Well, I was going to talk about that. Well, this is where it gets difficult, because if I start mentioning movie names, then you're already got an idea, You got an idea that this is how it works. But you got to figure that if they're going to write a script based on something true, they got to spin it way out of control. So you think it's nothing to be true at all. It was just like some grade 10 student. And well, it's grade 10 in Canada, 10th grade in the United States. And the UK, I don't know, they speak with a funny accent. They got funny words like, the hood of your car is a bonnet and gasoline is petrol. So I don't even know if they use the number 10. For the longest time, they never used dollars, but they used pence, tuppence. And then I think did they go to the euro and then the British euro? I don't know. I go to those places, I put it on my plastic and I let them figure it all out. Because, and some of those, it's just crazy. Some of these backwater places, you go to the Caribbean and they got their own currency, but nobody will take it. And some of them, the currency was printed 60 years ago, and it's the greasiest, grimiest stuff. You wouldn't use it to line your bird cage because you're afraid your bird would pick up something. It's disgusting. The currency, I don't like to touch it. But these places there, I mean, you can use, solid currency like Bitcoin, and they'll take, like beer. If you got canned beer, you can trade canned beer for goods and services. Uh, but that's what we like to do is we like to talk about, you know, a little bit of inane stuff. There was something else on it that was really just jigging on me, and it was about this stereotype that there's nothing but fat beached whales that go on cruise ships. In other words, post middle age, obese people who their clothes are 3 sizes too tight and they're very bad at tanning, so they get, sunburns. Now, I'm one of those kind of people. You can see I got a ruddy commission to my face, and some people say, "Well, Bob, you've been hitting the bottle." If I'm going to be singing Frank Sinatra, you're damn right I'm going to have probably a bottle of scotch and a scotch and soda. But, you can't sing Frank Sinatra and be drinking beer out of a bottle. I mean, that's just crude. If you got to cover blue eyes. Let's see now. Okay, so stories that we're following is the fall of the Roman Empire. And now you're going to give me the double take. What? Well, you got to read, you've probably already seen the movies by the author. Now, you just might not have put two and two together, but okay, Philip K. Dick, who they faked his death. They faked his death in order to, well, that's a long story. But anyway, they faked his death. But he wrote the novels that were based on a lot of really kooky movies that Keanu Reeves stars in. So, if you look up any Keanu Reeves movie, odds are somewhere along the line they're going to tie it back to Philip K. Dick. And one of his books was called Valis. It was about a computer that was orbiting the Earth, and it was like 2001: A Space Odyssey. That computer that went bazookified and stopped taking directions from the humans. HAL. So Valis is like HAL, and it's basically it uses synthetic telepathy to talk to humans on the ground. And anyway, I can't remember where I was going with that. Valis. Oh, anyway, in the book Valis, Philip K. Dick kept saying he had his character, which was himself, but he changed his name to Horse Lover Fat. And how did that work? Philip means, the word Philip means horse or horse lover, and fat. That sounds like that guy off of the original Hawaii Five-0. Was it Chow Yun Fat or somebody? He was like the big kingpin from the Far East of the black market. I can't remember what it is. Wu Fat. Maybe it was Wu Fat or something like that. But he was like, I don't know. He was the bad guy that Jack Lord was always chasing after. But anyway, when Philip K. Dick was talking about the empire never ended, he was talking about the Roman Empire, and he called it the Black Iron Prison. Now, surely to God you've heard of Alex Jones. Now, he was introduced to the public. He'd be long before he had a website and he had all of his ancillary things, what was it, Prison Planet, and then he had his Twitter taken away because they said he was too far out. That was censorship, just by the way. That was because he was getting too close to the truth, and the heat was on. So they started pulling out all his ability to broadcast, and then a lot of people thought, well, he's too right wing. He's right wing and couldn't possibly be true. But he was introduced to the public in an old movie. Who was that one? It was called Waking Life, and it was Ethan Hawke was in it, and I think the guy's name was Wiggins or something, Willie Wiggins or something. And Ethan Hawke was in it, and his girlfriend at the time was in it. And anyway, Alex Jones is in a segment of that movie, and that was the first time that we ever heard of him. And at that time, he was. You have to go look at that. Was like, I bet you it was 20 years ago. He was talking about the government excesses in those days. So anyway, the Black Iron Prison of Philip K. Dick is the Roman Empire, and he said basically the Roman Empire, even though they had that famous book, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire, he says the Roman Empire never fell. You know, the same families that ran Rome run the world today, and you can't get away from it. Oh, and then it gets spun off so many different ways. Somehow I wanted to include the Matrix in there because there was the one character in the Matrix called the Marengovian. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Marengovian. He was the Frenchman, and he had the two henchmen that were like twins, and they had blonde dreadlocks, and they were huge. You see, I always throw sex appeal in there somehow. You know, it's a movie about kooky sci-fi, and then they have to throw sex in it. But the Marengovian, basically, his part there was to go around, look at everybody, and says, you know, are you a useless eater or are you contributing something? And he said, you know, if you don't have a purpose, then there's no meaning to your life. You got to have a purpose. So, you know, that one was like, everyone else says, oh, it was all Neo and Trinity, and, you know, he was pretending to be Jesus and Redeemer. No, you can cut all the crap out of there. You want to watch The Matrix, you go back and you just find those segments with the Marengovian, the Frenchman, where he's talking about purpose. That's what you need to get out of The Matrix. All this other garbage, I mean, it's a simulation. Elon Musk is saying it's a simulation. Even that other guy, that fat guy that was the astronomer, what was his name? I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was going on and on how it could be a simulation run on an advanced computer that is in a basement of a house, and it could be run by like a 12-year-old that's got a computer video game, and they're running Planet Earth on this computer. I mean, they go, oh, come on, really? What they're trying to say, you know. So you got to go like strip away a lot of this garbage is. But if you go back to that movie, you find the Frenchman, and he starts talking, you know, Keanu Reeves and others, you know, I'm not going to do the French accent, but basically he said, you know, it's all about purpose. It's all about purpose, and everyone's got a purpose here. And if you don't have a purpose, you know, like there was like well, you know, the movie anyway. So he was all about the purpose, and, you know, now somebody else was wanting me to bring in Stephen King, because we do a lot of stuff with Stephen King and his world, because he talks about multiple versions of Earth. Now, this is a really weird theory, like the multiverse. When I was young, it was a universe, which means one universe, and in the universe, I mean, it goes on forever. It already goes on forever. The universe, it's all infinite. And then in the universe, you've got superclusters, and in the superclusters are the galaxies, and in the galaxies are the local groups of star systems, and then you go down to a star system which contains the planets, and the planets some have moons, some don't, and, you know, the comets, so, you know, then they start talking about this multiverse. You know, like there's multiple versions of the universe, because they say, well, that's what Stephen King talks about, multiple versions of Earth in his books. I don't want to give you too many spoilers, and I always stick my foot in my mouth. Okay, what else were we going to talk about? Well, you already know that Pindar is the name of the head of the Illuminati on planet Earth, and he is a reptilian Draco, and I don't know where we're with this now because he keeps changing his mind. I mean, I tell the actor, you stay in your character and you let your character develop. So first of all, he's like the horrible, terrible thing. He's like a violent reptilian that rip your head off just because he didn't like the look of you. And then he goes all soft. He's like, I'm not a reptilian anymore. I'm Puff the Magic Dragon. I was like, oh shit, he's been to San Francisco and he's been dropping those three-letter chemicals again. Oh, so I'm totally disgusted with Pindar. He's gone from being, I needed to have somebody tough in the movies. Now I don't have anybody that will play the dark. I mean, I've got the six. I mean, Rumpelstiltskin. This character won't even come on camera. But, he keeps falling back and he kept saying, oh, well, it's, the ring race, the six. But I had Pindar, and he was dark, and Rumpelstiltskin used to be dark, and now I don't know. I don't know. I gotta go casting. I need some new characters because these ones they've got too many. You can't have like a mellow show. It's like Billy Crystal, and what was that one where the girl was sitting in the restaurant faking an orgasm? No, I don't want to do these kind of movies. I'm not into doing romance. I want to do cutting edge news that is, on the borderline of stuff that you would say that's impossible. That's the kind of stuff that we work with. And no one say that somebody else already used Rumpelstiltskin in Once Upon a Time, and then they killed him off, and God only knows what it's. I mean, I started to watch it just to see how close we were to it. I couldn't get very far into that series. It is like The Young and the Restless. Bore Story 66. Oh my God, it is just endless drama, 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 drama. Boring, boring, boring. So, I don't know how much more we can use of this idea that, because they were saying at one time, well, we could tie in our Rumpelstiltskin to that one, but I can't get Robert Carlyle. You know how much he's going to charge to make an appearance? So, you know. Anyway, Robert, if you're out there and you want to make a cameo, we're not going to pay you. We're not going to give you proceeds because proceeds, nothing from nothing is nothing. We don't get nothing from YouTube. But if you're our fan, then, you could come over and, I don't know, if you like gin, I'll pour you a gin and tonic. You'll sit in your car, because, most of the time, I have to fake it, Like in my other video, I was showing you this fancy Lamborghini car, and I said, this is my car. And I was showing everybody my yacht, and I had a spaceship and all this stuff. I have to bullshit and baffle gap. Everybody knows that, uber low budget doesn't mean that you're, we have to do a lot of pretend show and tell. So, I mean, Robert Carlyle makes, God only knows how much he makes an episode, $1 million an episode or something. So he could pick me up and take me for a drive, and we go for Whistle Dogs, and he can spring for the Whistle Dogs, and if he wants to park the car, then we can get into the liquor, and, well, he can call a limo and get me a hotel room, and, I don't want in those 3-letter chemicals. This is the thing, with those Hollywood people, you start making friends with them, and then they start calling you all the hours, thinking that you're going to be available for them. And it's like, no, I'm an uber low budget producer, and my schedule is full. As much as I like to hobnob with the rich and famous, I've got my creative side, and this is what I do. So, anyway, Robert, if you want to hook up with me, just let us know, and it'd be nice to, see you, and then you could play Rumpelstiltskin, because, our version of Rumpelstiltskin, he sits at the back of the hut in the Sombra hut there, running the console, keeping the actors all synthetically telepathized. I don't know, have I covered everything so far? Okay, well, we're going to bang out 3 videos. Plus, we have to do little shorts for Instagram. I mean, Instagram's a pain in the neck. You know, they give you 1 minute videos, or you could do live feed, but then they disappear. I don't know where they go. And then they want you to tag all of your videos and your single, what do you call it, slides, your single slides. So we do this. Guess who does it? And then what happens? I put it all, tag it all in there, and I hit submit, and then they steal my tags. Like, I look at it and then I go, what the? And there's no tags there. So if you ever see where it's written project censored, it's because I had tagged the whole thing. And usually I give you a huge bunch of tags so that it ties into all different kinds of story ideas. And then I don't know. I don't understand it. Why would it be that if it's just a comedy channel? Why is it that I'm going and putting all this effort into tagging it, and I hit submit, and then it won't accept the tags? Or the other thing is I've got a few tags in there, and then I go into edit, and I go and add a whole pile more tags, and I click submit, and it says error, error, and then I got to discard everything that I put in there. So sometimes I try and see if I can put it in like as a comment, and then it says, oh, too many tags in your comments. Instagram is the other thing that's just so weird. You mean if you're going to go and uh, type responses to mails and stuff, it's not like they don't put what you're typing at the top here. They don't put it at the top. They put it down at the bottom down here where your keyboard is. So your keyboard is up over top of what you're typing, so you can't see what you're typing. Duh, no one figured that out, Instagram. How many billions you pull in and you've never used your app to figure out like the most basic functionality doesn't work? I don't know. I give my head a shake. I mean, these are the billionaires, and they've got supposed to be the smartest people. But I told you they're doing 3-letter drugs that are illegal, and they're for their creativity. It's not creativity. They're bazookafied, and they can't even use their own damn app, and they can't find out that it doesn't work. It's got major flaws. So if you're one of those people that are like, oh, I'm going to go and start doing 3-letter, don't do them. Stick to something good and old fashioned, like liquor. Okay, so anyway, I was going to tell you about some of the other stories, but if you listen to Harry Weaver is our general purpose narrator, and he basically gives you all the background you need. And then if you basically have to listen to all the videos to get the whole story. And we got so many videos on the Instagram and on the YouTube. You could go back, and some people like to do that. What do you call that on Netflix, where they binge watch? You could binge watch our 2 things, and I swear to God, if you even catch up to how fast we are moving, then you are the uber binge watcher. But if you want fresh content, we put fresh content all the time. And every once in a while we do sort of a major update and give you sort of a how we're doing on it all. It's impossible to do everything in one of these long videos. So, I mean, if you went right to the very beginning and started watching, it would take you forever to catch up because we've got so much stuff there. So if you're buying Netflix for $10 a month, plus your internet, well, you still have to have internet, I guess, to get YouTube, but it's all free. And we're not clones of everyone else. I'm not going to talk about Bobby Burrows' Patreon. I'm not going to tell you that he was going to give away a pair of Jokey McFlokey underwear. Anyway, we always market Project Censored because, I don't know, like if I get 33 hits on an Instagram and then I look at some of these other people where they got like 4 selfies of themselves and they've got 20,000 users, and I'm going, you're sure? 20,000 users for your 4 face pics. No, I mean the numbers on these apps are they're totally, you can buy and pay for extra numbers, and we're not going to do that. But our numbers seem to be very low, and everyone says you got to watch the numbers. Oh God. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to deal with the fact that we don't seem to get the hits. But even their stats are cuckoo because they've got two ways of calculating. One is like your insight, and one is the number of hits or something on Instagram, and they never match. They never match. And sometimes, you click on add somebody as a follow, and then you come back the next day and the same person is there. You can go and click in there and you can see where you liked a couple of their pictures. The likes are still there, but you have to refollow them. They took the follow off. Huh? Three-letter drugs, Scooby Snacks in San Francisco. You want to beat these guys at their game, you get some people that are sober. I'm Bob Frizzell, your movie producer. If you want movie tips, who was it? Was it Beasley the Wizard? One of our actors did a bunch of acting lessons for real life. It was quite a long time. I think they did about 6 of them. And there were long acting lessons. So you don't need to spend $200 a session to go to acting lessons. You can just go and look for whatever I just said, acting lessons for real life here on Infinitebob99. And you can get everything you need about being a good actor right there and in there. Okay. Now I gotta figure out if I can sneak off to. Well, they just changed it to Circle K. I mean, they changed the names of these corner stores every 5 years, and I can't figure it out. Why do you have to change the name of the corner store? Everyone knows the name perfectly, you know. I mean, some of these gas stations, I'm still using the name that they had from 30 years ago. They've been rebranded so many times, but I just call it, whatever it was back then. If you were that old, you probably know what I'm talking about. But, I'm not going to keep up with. I mean, I'm. See you later.